Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright, people. This weekend, Canelo Alvarez versus Dmitry Bivol. We're going to have a look at this fight. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to give my picks. I'm going to talk through what I think both guys are going to need to do in order to win this fight. And, I'm really looking forward to this fight, I have to say. Just to give a bit of background to it. It was at the start of the year. It looked like Canelo may actually be facing Ilunga Makabu. I believe he was even at the WBC because of conference, and they pretty much kind of were like photographed together. I was very kind of sure at the time that Canelo probably would be fighting Makabu. Then that idea kind of went south, and it was a toss up between two options. It was you sign a 2-fight deal with PBC, you fight Charlo and you fight Benavidez, or 2 fights with the Zone and you fight Bivol versus Golovkin. Now, both of them were, good paydays for Canelo. It was a weird one, right? Because the PBC deal against Charlo and against Benavidez, you technically aren't gaining a title. You wouldn't gain a title from beating either of them. But both guys are bigger names commercially, but then certainly Dmitry Bivol. And I thought that, okay, maybe Canelo will do that on pay-per-view. Maybe he'll look and just think, look, I can beat both these guys. The Charlo fight, I would imagine that's straightforward enough. The Benavidez fight is interesting, and I think stylistically that would be a really, really fun fight. But then, I thought kind of like, he's not getting anything from it. Canelo is one of these fighters where he is looking to hunt down legacy. And I thought, to be honest with you, I think he would have got more credit not from the hardcore, but from the general boxing audience for beating those two guys than beating Dmitry Bivol. I say that because we all know, the hardcores watching this video, we know Dmitry Bivol is a very, very talented fighter. He's tremendously talented. He's very skilled. He's an excellent operator in the ring. He might not be the most entertaining. He maybe would, appeal to more boxing purists. I quite like watching Dmitry Bivol, but he certainly is a talented fighter. That of which there's no question. But yeah, he wouldn't have the drawing power of a Charlo. I not to say Charlo was a massive draw or anything like that, but he would definitely be bigger than Bivol, and likewise Benavidez. So it kind of seemed like you're taking a harder fight, and I do consider this a harder fight than both them fights. You're taking a harder fight where when I speak to people who know Canelo, they know he's fighting, they're saying, he's going to beat this guy easy. I've never heard of this Bivol guy. And I think most people are kind of, from the outside looking in, are writing Dmitry Bivol off because they just don't know any better. They don't know him, so they assume he's no good. So I wonder how much credit Canelo will get. Obviously, we'll give him massive credit if he wins, but I wonder how much he's going to get from the general audience. He has something to gain from this, obviously a light heavyweight title. He's already been champion at light heavyweight back in 2019, but this is another one. And this will really put him on course for undisputed, because Canelo, obviously, I'm just saying, hypothetically, if he wins, because obviously this prediction, I'm not just saying it as a foregone conclusion, but if Canelo wins, he has the Triple G fight in September, and then he can go and potentially go to Top Rank and face the winner of Beterbiev versus Smith, because it's a bit easier, because I don't know if Dmitry Bivol is locked into a long-term deal with the Zone. I don't know, but I would imagine for Canelo it'd be straightforward enough to get that fight made next year. So credit to both guys for taking this fight. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think that this is going to be probably Canelo's toughest fight since the Triple G fight, since the second Triple G. Both of them really, truth be told, they're both tough fights, but I really do see this as a hard fight for Canelo. I really do. There's no rehydration clause, thank God, for this fight. I don't know if it would have played much of a difference, because he had it with Kovalev, which I didn't really like, because Kovalev at that time was, it was known that he was a bit tight at the weight. He'd only just come off the back of a really tough fight, and a rehydration clause really was the kind of nail in the coffin. With Bivol, he's a lot more comfy at light heavyweight. So is there any real need for a rehydration clause? Because Bivol spoke openly about the fact that, if a fight's there for him at 168, he can go down there. So with a rehydration clause, I'm sure Canelo probably look and think it's not going to affect this guy too much. But I'm glad it's not there nonetheless. I am. Now, let's look at this fight. So when I look at Dmitry Bivol, I see a fighter who has very good timing, has a brilliant jab, brilliant straight puncher is Dmitry Bivol. That's one thing about Bivol. If I have one criticism about Bivol, is that his straight shots are good, but he neglects he doesn't really tend to fight. He can't really, I say can't, but he's not very good on the inside. He doesn't switch up his attack. You know, it really is kind of rinse and repeat. Jab, right hand, maybe take a step in. His in and out movement is brilliant, but it is kind of jab, step in, right hand, 1-2, 1-2, step in. And that's kind of how it is. Bivol's timing, his speed, because he's very good speed. He's tremendously fast for a light heavyweight. You know, if you see Dmitry Bivol, you know, the speed is there. And it's the speed, the in and out movement, the timing. All this, I think, is going to give Canelo absolute fits in there. I really do. You know, Canelo, the big thing about the Billy Joe fight, people were saying, like, how would he get on with a mover? You know, we saw him down when he was fighting Mayweather-Lara. That's a very, very long time ago. The Lara fight will be, I think, 8 years almost since he fought Lara. It's a quick 8 years, but it'll be about basically 8 years since he fought Lara. That was down 154 pounds. Those guys are faster anyway. They're faster of foot. Canelo's foot speed, it's got better than it was, and he's definitely better at cutting off the ring than he used to be. He definitely is able to handle movers a lot better than he used to be. I do think, though, that with Dmitry Bivol, that in-out movement, the way he's, you know, sometimes he's jabbing on his way in, I do think that's going to offset Alvarez. But saying that, I've seen Alvarez has such good head movement. His head movement is tremendous, certainly early on in the fight, you know, when he's definitely a lot fresher, that we see people like Danny Jacobs, who are very athletic, very fast, certainly down at middleweight, and, you know, they have good long-range boxing. They're struggling to land the jab on Canelo Alvarez. And it's a fast jab. They're struggling to even land a jab on him because Canelo Alvarez's head movement is so good. His head movement is tremendous. He's a pure athlete. He's probably in his prime years now. Because Alvarez is what? He's 31 now, going on 32. He's talked about having many more years left in the sport. He believes that as well because he treats this sport, you know, like his baby. If you think about it, you never see Canelo out of shape. He is as consummate professional as you want to see. But I definitely think that Bivol, what he's going to need to do is he's going to want to try from the first round, establish the jab on his end. Now, one other criticism about Dmitry Bivol, has been a criticism for the last few years, is that he's kind of, I call him a 6-speed gearbox, but at the minute he's stuck in third gear. He just can't seem to get out of third gear. When you see Bivol in his most recent few fights, certainly over the last few years, he's been able to dominate those opponents, Joe Smith, the likes of them. But he's never been able to really step on the gas. And you know the way when you see fighters, they can go through the gears. They can say, right, I'm the superior boxer in here. I'm able to go through the gears. And they really just turn it up. You know, I think we saw, a good example would be Alexander Usyk. You know, Alexander Usyk, in my opinion, in the first AJ fight, he was able to kind of beat AJ in third gear. And it was only really in the 12th round where Usyk said, I'm going to find another gear. And there's plenty, and I think there were still gears to go. And it was a real case of, oh wow. You know, it's like, wow, damn. He has way more gears to go through. We don't really see that with Bivol these days. He's happy to just kind of keep it as it is and go through the motions. I worry that maybe Bivol has kind of, he's almost stuck in that motion now. That this is where I am. I'm good enough to beat these guys. I don't need to go through the gears. Against Canelo, he really will. Because I don't think that it'll be just enough for him to be, you know, good early on. Because Canelo is great at reading an opponent. I think that he'll be able to, I think Bivol's jab will give Canelo issues at the start of this fight. But I think that after a few rounds, Canelo was great at reading the opponent. If you see like what he did against Billy Joe was moving incessantly. He wasn't doing anything. Alright, because Billy Joe, the movement was good, but it wasn't really affecting Canelo. When Billy Joe kind of started, you know, dipping in and out, that's kind of when Canelo started to have issues. But once Billy Joe was doing that, he was able to spot gaps in Billy Joe's defense, and he was able to say, right, well, if you come in and you do this, I'm going to know to do this. Hence how the uppercut came about, where he smashed Billy Joe's face up. So Canelo has just this eye. When he's in there, he's not panicked. He's just going through the motions. He's constantly thinking, you're doing this, so I know I'm going to need to do this, and I'm going to be able to do it. He's reading the opponent, everything they're doing. It's almost like, you're putting something in a computer and it's just downloading. It's like, right, I know what to do now. That's kind of like Canelo. They said about Lomachenko, and I can kind of see that in Canelo as well, that he can just kind of read the opponent and just say, right, you're doing this, I know what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do this, and that's going to offset that. I can see Canelo doing that. Bivol is not good on the inside. We've seen him actually in the Craig Richards fight be outworked, and Richards was able to have some good success to Dmitry Bivol's body. Now, Canelo Alvarez, he's not someone, he's not a guy who's going to outwork you. He really will pick and choose his attacks, but he is a wicked combination puncher. He's a tremendous body puncher, and his straight right hand is very, very fast. Got a great overhand right. Bivol's been tagged in the past with overhand rights. We've seen that against, Joe Smith Jr. I think Sullivan Barrera was able to get a few in, but Barrera is what he is. He's a fringe kind of contender. But against Bivol, Canelo's overhand right, I think that's going to be landing. And Bivol, we've never really seen him seriously buzzed. I know against Joe Smith he was buzzed briefly towards the back end of that fight, but he's not really been, we've not shown any fragility in terms of the chin department, but he's not really been in there with massive punchers. Saying that, I think Canelo Alvarez is hitting a lot harder at 168 and at 175, and I do think he carries tremendous explosive power in that right hand. So Bivol's going to want to watch his step with that. Bivol can be a bit, bit one-dimensional as well with his shot. Because as I said, he knows to step in. He knows he's got a good jab, a fast jab, good timing, and a good straight right hand. But he doesn't, as I said, switch it up. That's kind of rinse and repeat. So he's not adding in any hooks. He's not looking to set up like a little uppercut or really go downstairs. He's not doing any of that. So if you're Alvarez and you're seeing a guy who's kind of, okay, he's fast, he's good, his timing's good, but he's rinse and repeat. So I kind of know roughly what the attack is going to be and how I'm going to offset that. He's not improvising, he's not changing it. So I know myself, right, I can attack the body, I can come over the top of his right hand, because sometimes, Bivol's right hand is good, but sometimes, he'll bring it back a bit low, and Canelo Alvarez, I think, has a faster right. I think he might be able to say, right, I can step in, move my head, get around that right hand, and I can come over the top, and I can land the right hand on you, and it's going to hurt you because my right hand is explosive. As well as that, I'm going to be hitting you with body shots. I'm going to be looking to back you up against the ropes, and just even if I'm hitting your arms, I'm going to be hitting your arms hard and trying to bring your arms down, a bit like what Canelo Smith, how he was able to pick targets on his arms and just bash it up, basically. So Canelo's going to be like, I'm going to be hitting every part of you with hard explosive shots that you're not used to be getting hit with. I'm going to be hitting you in the body, and my right hand is going to land before yours does, and yours isn't going to land, mine will. So I think that Canelo early on might not look the best. He might get outboxed for the first 2 or 3 rounds, but I can really see him taking a foothold. I can see him outwork Dmitry Bivol to the body, and I can see him finding a home for his straight right hand on Dmitry Bivol's head. Having said that, Dmitry Bivol's in-out movement is so good, his timing is so good, that he could easily offset Canelo. He could easily offset Canelo's rhythm. Canelo, when he gets into a rhythm, he's very, very good, very impressive as Alvarez. And if Bivol can offset that, then it could be very interesting. As I've said several times, I really do see this fight as a really tricky fight to pick a winner in. I see it as a very tricky fight for Canelo. People always make out as though Alvarez gets the rub of the green. No matter what happens, Alvarez will get the rub of the green. He'll get wide scorecards. Well, let's just reflect over the last few years since he's been with the zone. Right? Against Callum Smith, bizarrely, I think 1 or 2 judges gave Callum Smith 3 rounds. He didn't win a round. The Danny Jacobs fight, those scorecards were close. I think it was a 115, or might have been 2 115, 113s, and a 116, 112. In a Canelo fight that's competitive, we very seldom see scorecards like that, people. We always look at Austin Trout as a good example. Very close competitive fight. You had like 118, 108 scorecards. Like, what fight were you watching to see 118, 108? Like Erislandy Lara, 117, 111. I forget the judge who scored that. But it's like, what fight were you watching with a 170, 111 score? It wasn't that type of fight. Mayweather with the 140, Golovkin. We haven't seen scorecards like that. Against Kovalev in a close competitive fight, and Kovalev was really able to offset Canelo very good with the jab in that fight. He was just constantly working that jab, and I think Bivol might need to take inspiration from some of the things Kovalev was doing, where it's just work that jab, make him think, make him reset. But even in that fight, close enough scorecards. There wasn't like a really bizarre, you're like, what fight were you watching? The judges and the scorecards have been a lot more even Steven. They've been a lot fairer to the opponent since Canelo's been on the zone. So for me, I look at that and I think Bivol, I think he's going to be a live opponent, and I think the judges will call it fairly. The one thing I do worry about, without going in too in depth into this, is Bivol being obviously Russian, and we know what's going on, and there's been a lot of sanctions on Russian athletes. I know Lou DiBella, who was a clown, he was an absolute just TV says this, I will do this. That's Lou DiBella, just an absolute way with the fairies. He was thinking, oh yeah, these Russian athletes and this, that and the other. I do wonder, would there be a situation where you'll have judges who maybe would score a fight knowing that the opponent's from Russia? Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'll give him that round. I know that might be going in there a bit, but look, you know the way some people can be. I do wonder, would that be a situation? Because I know it potentially could be. Obviously they're not going to say that, but do you think, I wonder if some judges maybe will look at a fight and have that in their mind and think, maybe I won't give you that round. Regardless who it's against. I just think of that. Keys to victory for both guys. I think Canelo, body attacks on Dmitry Bivol. Straight right hands. Try and land that straight right hand. And cut off the ring, get Dmitry Bivol backed up against the ropes and just look to hit arms, bodies, chin, whatever you can hit, whatever you can tag. When you get your combinations off, you're a wicked combination puncher, like Dmitry Bivol up with them shots. If you're Dmitry Bivol, in and out movement, plenty of that. Work that jab like a mother, you-know-what, and try and offset Canelo's rhythm with that. I don't think he will, but if he could even try and change things up, like even if he was to hook off the jab, just anything, because you're Alvarez. Like, Alvarez is always someone who's, and this is the thing you need to remember, so Alvarez, the way he punches, the way he sets traps for you is so, he will often, and you'll see this, like a good example, look at the left hook he landed in the second Triple G fight, where he was dipping his shoulder down. So he dipped his shoulder down. So Triple G is thinking, all right, left hook is coming to the body, and Canelo is throwing it, and the hook is coming, and last minute, up and onto the chin. So watch out for those shots, because he telegraphs them shots very well, and he's able to set them up very well. He's able to disguise them very well. The knockout against Liam Smith, he threw a left hook to Liam Smith's head, had nothing on it, but Liam Smith saw it coming, so brought the guard up to block the left hook. But straight away, Canelo was like, right, you brought the hand to the head, boom, down to the body. It was literally like hook, hook. So Liam Smith was like, oh, hook to the head, and then Canelo's, boom, dodge in the body. So he's going to want to watch for that, like how sneaky Canelo is with some of his shots, and how he disguises little power shots to bring the opponent into a position where he wants to actually land a real shot. Needs to be wary of that. I have to give a pick on this fight. I got the Dylan White Tyson Fury fight so wrong, but in this fight, I'm going with Alvarez, Canelo, unanimous points decision. 116, 112, 115, 113 job. That's what I'm thinking. We are going to do a live watch along for this fight, of course. 3 a.m. start on Saturday, Sunday morning, Irish time and UK time. We're going to watch along. Sadly, Filip Hrgovic is off the card now, so I don't know what they're going to do. If it means it's going to be even earlier now or what, I'm not too sure. But look, we'll wonder then. Hope you enjoyed. It's been a bit of a long one, but nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this prediction. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And for now, lads and lassies, I'll leave you with that.